Welcome to Paul Ponders. My name is Paul Solano of PS&L Marketing Group, and I may be reached via email at paul@paulponders.com. Thank you for joining me for my foray into podcasting. It is great to be collaborating with my friend and associate Chalonzo Amos of PodPro Entertainment to bring you some fun, exciting, and informative podcasts. For many years, I've been referred to as the Connector, or in Greater Boston circles as the Connector. With PSNLmarketinggroup.com, I've created a side gig to connect you and get things done. Please sit back and relax and listen to today's podcast. If you are driving or operating heavy machinery and just listening, then please just listen and stay focused on your task at hand. Thanks again for listening. Enjoy my ponderings. Let #PaulPonders begin. Greetings. How are you, everyone? It's Paul Ponders. #PaulPonders. Hope everyone is doing well, and I hope that everyone is enjoying my podcast series. We're having a lot of fun doing this. Techie Chalonzo Amos, PodPro Entertainment, just doing a fabulous job in really putting together some wonderful podcasts, and I'm having fun doing this. But again, thank you, Techie Chalonzo. You're in the studio doing a great job. Well, this podcast is very special to me. I have my first in-studio guest. We're doing this on the platform, and we have the illustrious, the wonderful James Norris.
Paul, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. The check is in the mail for that intro.
Oh, thank you. Well, there's more, Mr. James.
Oh.
So, James Norris, Executive Director and founder of Handi Capable Fitness. Welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's really great to have you on. And, I have this prepared presentation to let our audience know about who you are. And also, if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a minute or two just to provide this wonderful introduction to our studio audience. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Go for it. All right. James Norris is the founder and president of Handi Capable Fitness, Inc., a nonprofit 501c3 organization headquartered in Malden. Your website address, handicapablefitness.com. Mr. Norris is a nationally known handi-capable athlete and motivational speaker who was diagnosed with cerebral palsy just before his second birthday. James has a very strong social media presence across many platforms and is a popular, sought-after national speaker. Mr. Norris is currently in his later 30s. Handi Capable Fitness supports the health and wellness of all adaptive athletes nationwide, encouraging them to step out of their box and face adversity with strength, courage, and resilience. Through scholarship funding, Handi Capable Fitness is able to provide much-needed funding for fitness memberships, athletic equipment, and travel for its adaptive athletic community. Mr. Norris recently completed the Boston Bruins Foundation Be Fit Challenge for Level 1 in his capacity as a member of the Malden Rotary team that collaborated with Cataldo Ambulance to raise money for the Massachusetts Ambulance Association and Foundation. Author James Norris recently published his first of 4 children's books. The book's title is Feeling Left Out. It is already a very popular children's book that is based upon James's life while growing up in Massachusetts. So James Norris, the man, the legend, welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
It's really great to have you on. There's just so much to talk about. We were joking earlier with Techie Chalonzo that we could really make this into, a marathon. This could be, probably like a 10 episode type of thing. We could go on for hours upon hours. What do you think?
We could, because I think that you bring out the absolute best in me. I think it's you as a host. You have tendency to really pull the best out of people, get them to talk and to really open up. So that's, a testament to what you do.
Well, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And the check is in the mail on that one. But I think we have a thing. This is the Mutual Admiration Society, and it's really great to have you on as my first in studio guest. And as we go with hashtag Paul Ponders, and we really elevate our platform, it's something where I want to thank everyone for just tuning in and listening to us today. But James, I am still so proud. I'm just like totally blown away with what I experienced this past Sunday with the Boston Bruins Foundation and the BFit Challenge. So if you just want to tell our audience what it was like and what you did with the Malden Rotary Club and Cataldo Ambulance, I ask you to take it away and just let us know what you were feeling.
Okay, great. But before I do that, do you want to give the folks just a quick overview of what the BFit Challenge is exactly?
James, I thank you. Now, if I believe that you have had a career in radio. You've had a past background in radio. And you are prompting me so well, just like you used to do back in the day when you used to work for a radio station in Boston. So that's great. If you want to maybe just tell us about that before I go into the BFit Challenge. What did you do in the radio career?
So I was lucky enough to work here in Boston, as you said, and I did promotions and production. So basically, I took the sound effects, put them into the commercials with the music beds and all that sort of thing, and then loaded them over the air so that they would play and people would get all those catchy jingles stuck in their heads.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So you have had plenty of experience with radio, and now we have this new medium of podcasting. And if I'm not mistaken, you also have a podcast.
Yes, I did for about a year and a half during the pandemic, and then Handi Fitness kind of took off, and I unfortunately didn't have the time to dedicate to it like I once did. But I'm hoping that when things kind of settle down just a little bit and I can kind of get my groove, similar to what you're doing, I would love to bring it back, but I just want to make sure that I'm first consistent with it because I feel as though if people are going to be dedicated and listen, as a host, you should really respect their time. And how you respect their time is just being consistent.
That is key. And Talonzo and I have spoken about that at great length. And it's something with Pod Pro Entertainment and the other podcasts that are on the Pod Pro Entertainment, just to give them a plug with Above the Rim and also with the Career Guru, Paul Ponders, and many more platforms, many more podcasts to come on that. Maybe one day, James, you could join the Pod Pro Entertainment platform.
That would be fantastic.
Absolutely. That would be awesome if that were to happen down the road. So keep us posted on your travels, and we'll be hashtag James Norris, hashtag Handicapable Fitness, hashtag King James. The list goes
I
on.
don't know. I think LeBron James would come after me for that.
There you go. Absolutely. The number one scorer in NBA
We're not going to
history.
talk about that. That's the one thing I won't talk about.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, getting back to the BFit Challenge. Now, the BFit Challenge is really a great event in its 7th year. It was held the first Sunday in February. And it's just a great event that was broken down into many divisions. And you and I had the pleasure of participating through the Malden Rotary Club and Cataldo Ambulance to take on the challenge of climbing the stairs of the Boston Garden with different levels. And what we did was we raised money. I believe our team raised $1,500 for the Mass Ambulance Association, Mass Ambulance Foundation. And it was something that we had to take on the challenge of climbing the stairs. So, have I done a nice enough job in setting it up for you to let our listeners know what the challenge was like for you?
Yes, you absolutely did. So, first and foremost, it was an honor to be a part of that, both to represent the Malden Rotary, Cataldo Ambulance, and just the Bruins Foundation as a whole. Something that's near and dear to me is first responders, military, anybody that keeps us safe and opens up the doors for us to do things like we're doing here today on this podcast. So when you asked me to do it, I jumped all over it because that's just my simple way of saying thank you. Now going into the day, my plan was to walk the stairs on my feet. But as we got to the garden, I was looking things over and then I realized that oh shoot, the stairs are kind of narrow and walking up them wouldn't be the best fit. So I said, okay, well, the knees it is. And I just said, here we go. And literally took it one step at a time, one stair at a time, and just kind of went into a zone because as I looked around, and this was one of the coolest things that I saw, there was all these first responders, men and women, both in the military, firefighters, EMS, all that stuff, and they were doing it in full gear. And I was looking at them and I said, you know, this kind of hurts my knees a little bit, but I really have nothing to complain about when I see them doing the things that they're doing. And they really motivated me. And the whole thing with handicapable fitness, I try to preach and I try to live by is hey, we're all given a certain gift and we might not have the same ability as somebody else, but why don't we max out? The goal should be to max out our ability to the very end. And then once we get to the very end, push it just a little bit more because that's when growth happens. When we think we don't have enough and we just push it that one little bit, that's when we surprise ourselves sometimes and realize that hey, this isn't all that bad. And that's kind of what happened with the BFIT challenge. I was fortunate enough to have a great team surrounding me to cheer me on, to give me some water when I needed it. I wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for you guys. So you guys made my job super easy. So I appreciate you.
Wow. Well, that's you're quite welcome on that. But I just wanted to ask you, what was it like when you were finally in that final section in the bowl at the TD Garden? There were probably two, three, 400 people watching you complete this task. The music was blasting. The Jumbotron had you going towards the finish line, about to complete this wonderful task. What was it like? What was going through your mind?
You know, it's kind of funny because I've had a couple days now to really think about that. And in the moment, I was kind of, I was so there and I was stuck. I was like, okay, not stuck. But whenever I do something like this, whether it's the BFIT challenge or a Spartan race, I tend to kind of zone out and just focus. So I've been able to reflect on it and it was a prideful moment because as I said, for me, I looked around and I saw all those people, all those first responders, and it was my simple way of just saying thank you because they motivated me. They pushed me to do it. I remember there was this gentleman and his son, probably about 7, 8 years old. I want to say he was a firefighter from Lincoln, Rhode Island. I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
and he was behind me on that last stretch saying, "Come on, James, you got this." And then his little son was right there and he was cheering me on. So that little boy is really what pushed me over the edge because you could just hear the excitement in his voice and I said, "Okay, I can't let him down."
That's so true. And I also had a chat with that firefighter, and I believe his name was Aaron. And I think he was from, you're right, Lincoln, Rhode Island, or Quinville, Rhode Island, if I'm remembering. And he was just totally taken aback and just so amazed at what you were accomplishing, and his son as well. It was really just a great thing, and it was so nice for him to just stay with us as we completed that final task. And then you rang the bell, and
I sure
tell
did.
us about that. You did.
It
Oh,
it was an incredible experience, because as I said, not only did I finish for myself, the pride that came with that, but I finished for my teammates. I finished for Cataldo Ambulance. I finished for the Rotary of Malden and the Bruins Foundation. That's the thing. These people entrusted me to allow me to take on this event and to do this. And I firmly believe that if somebody is going to entrust you with that, you owe them to give it everything you have. And that was just my way of saying thank you. I didn't disappoint you. I didn't let you down. Here you go. This is for you.
that's super. And for our listeners, if you want to log into the maldenrotary.org site, there's a link posted with James completing that task and other pictures of our team and all the great things that we did on that day, but also to just give a quick shout out for the Malden Rotary Club. Our motto is service above self, and I believe that James is going to be vice president elect, a vice president of the Malden Rotary Club next year, with hopefully being president down the road. And it's just another thing that James Norris does so well in the community and make it happen. So I'm going to use this as a segue, James, if it's okay, as we look at your illustrious career. And it's been a great career thus far. And it seems like you've just decided to become an author.
I did. Kind of a crazy story. I still have to pinch myself to this day to just give the folks a quick background on it. I was bored one day during the pandemic, just brought my laptop out. I didn't even think I was gonna write a book and just had words come out on a page. And I remember finishing that session and I went to go save the document and I thought to myself, do I really want to save this? And then I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'll ever need it or use it, come back to it sometime down the road. And sure enough, a couple years later, I showed it to you and you're like, "Hey, I think we can kind of turn this into something." And you took the ball and you ran with it, or as you like to say, you skated to where the puck is going, not to where it's been. So, credit to you with that.
Wow. Well, thank you for those kind words, but I'll give Wayne Gretzky the credit for that quote of skate to where the puck is going, not to where it's been. And it is so true. But you handled it so well, and I guess you're not stopping at one book, right?
No, we're gonna keep this thing going. There's three more in the pipeline. So
Wow.
the world is gonna know about James Norris and Handy Capable Fitness and all the good things that we intend to do.
Well, if you want to tell our listening audience and our subscribers what the name of the book is and how they could purchase a copy.
Sure, it is called Feeling Left Out. It's a children's book, first of four, as we have mentioned, and they can order it at handycapablefitness.com/feeling left out. That's HANDI capablefitness.com/feeling left out.
Okay, and would you like to give a little synopsis as to what it's about?
Sure, so it's about me as a young man, and I was out at recess. I saw all the other children playing and running around and just having a lot of fun. And there I was off in my power chair, and I couldn't play like everybody else. And I started to cry. A classmate of mine saw me, and he started to then go back and forth with his dialogue within himself. Do I go up and talk to Jimmy? Or what happens if he gets mad at me and yells at me and tells me to go away? Well, he ended up going up and talking to me, and one thing led to another. We went into the classroom and played a game. We had a bunch of laughs, and then Jimmy realized at the end that the things that make him different are actually his superpowers. And that's the message that we tried to present in the book, was that no matter who you are, whether you're a handicapable athlete or an able-bodied person, no matter who you are, everybody's different. But that's the thing that makes us absolutely awesome, and that's what makes us all cool kids that grow up to be cool adults.
And that about sums it up as to who you are. You are a cool dude, James Norris.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Wow. I can't believe that as we wind down this podcast, all the great things that you have accomplished thus far. And I see you just accomplishing so many more things. What draws, what gives you your inspiration?
Well, first and foremost, anything that I've accomplished and anything I will accomplish going forward is a credit to God. I would not be able to do the things I'm doing without Him, because He has introduced me to the right people like yourself, people who have believed in me before I believed in myself. And you guys basically held up a mirror to me and said, here, this is what you're capable of doing, and we're going to come alongside you and we're going to help you get there. So I give you guys credit. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for the team of people around me and just our donors who believe in the mission of Handi-Capable Fitness and are really showing up and getting behind it in a big way.
Wow, that's powerful. And I am going to, I'm really not a betting man, but I'm going to bet that you're going to be a guest on another Paul Ponders podcast down the road. What do you think?
Hey, bring it on. I'm all about it. So
There you go. You love the
I've really
challenge.
enjoyed this.
Absolutely. And I have as well. I can't believe that this episode has just flown by because you are so interesting and so motivational, so inspirational and all. And I hope that our listeners will, in fact, pay attention to when you come out with your podcast once again, and hopefully on the PodPro Entertainment Network and platform. I think it would be great. So, James Norris, I want to thank you for being on with us today. And do you have any final words of inspiration?
You know what? We all have gifts and we're all equipped with greatness, but it's up to us to define what that greatness looks like. So take your challenges and turn them into your biggest testimony that you absolutely can, because by you sharing your story, you're helping somebody else down the road that you may not even know.
And with that, as I close out the psnallmarketinggroup.com, hashtag paulponders.com, James, that is a big hashtag indeed. Well done. Indeed.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Be well. We'll talk soon. I trust that you have enjoyed hashtag Paul Ponders. Again, my name is Paul Solano of PS&All Marketing Group, and I may be reached via email at paul@paulponders.com to do some more pondering. Many thanks to my longtime collaborative friend and associate, Chalonzo Amos of PodPro Entertainment, in bringing you our fun, exciting, and informative podcasts. You rock, Techie Chalonzo. With psnallmarketinggroup.com, I created a side gig to connect you and get things done. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me at paul@paulponders.com with any questions. Please share hashtag Paul Ponders with your family, friends, colleagues, and associates. Thank you again for listening to hashtag Paul Ponders, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or website paulponders.com, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Until we meet again, my friend, stay well, indeed.